Hey everyone, welcome back to Low Key Not a Podcast. I'm Amanda, and today I have Morgan Gruber with me. You may have noticed her from American Idol or her singing around locally. And today we're going to talk about her journey to music and what she's doing in her career. So, Morgan, do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Morgan Gruber. I'm a country singer based out of Fawnville. I'm 20 years old.
Awesome. So, what led you, how did you know that you wanted to pursue music and get into that field?
Yeah, so I was talking to a lot of people based in Nashville, and they told me that doing music is not something that people do in school, like
Yeah.
middle school and elementary and high school. It's like an elective, and I went to Riverside, and elementary and middle school, you had to take music. And I had my history teacher talk to my parents about getting me into voice lessons. Basically, my whole time that I was in elementary school and middle school, I had a teacher, and he would always encourage me. I did some solos and stuff like that. But it wasn't until my history teacher told my parents that they really should get me into voice lessons was whenever I kind of started doing music.
Yeah.
And music's always been something that's been around me my whole life. When my grandma would watch me, there was always sing-alongs, the radio was always on. So I was always singing and stuff like that. My parents did tell me whenever I was a baby too, before I could even talk, I'd always hum to the music and stuff and react that way. But it wasn't until my history teacher again told me to go and get voice lessons. So I went there and I did voice lessons with a woman named Marianne, based out of near Cranberry area.
Mhm.
And I did that for a few years. And after that, my mom would post little clips of me doing stuff through that. And after that, American Idol reached out to me when I was 15.
That's awesome. They reached out to you.
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story, but
Yeah.
they reached out to me when I was 15, and I went through everything, and it ended up I was 30 days too young for the show.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I was gonna have an agent represent me, and then that didn't happen, so they were like, "That's okay, we'll just do it the next year." So next year came around, and we didn't hear anything back from them, and so organically, we just auditioned,
Mhm.
and I ended up making it to, the 4th round. So there's a bunch of different rounds before there's actually, the audition where you see
Yeah.
on television. And so after that, I basically just auditioned organically again. And no, actually, I lied. After that, they reached out to me and told me to come back on the show. That's when you see me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you audition not in California, or do you have to go all the way to California to do it?
No, so they actually do a Zoom call. So it's
Oh.
basically, I think they switched it because of COVID. So I did it a year after COVID. So I was happy about that. But basically, they just put you in a Zoom call and you're there
Mhm.
all day. And they just, put you in little rooms and pull
Mhm.
you in and take you out. And I just did it that way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you how did you feel when they were like, "You're gonna be on American Idol"? That had to have been so exciting, but so scary.
Yeah, so I'm not really somebody that gets overly excited about certain
Yeah.
things. So whenever they told me I was going on the show, I was just like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And they basically I remember them tricking me into finding out that I was going through. I don't remember how they said it, but it was just kind of weird and it was hard for me to process. And then I finally processed it and then I was like, oh, this is cool. And they were just not happy about my response, but
Yeah.
it was all good. And then I ended up going to Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So how many rounds? Because I know you were on TV for a couple episodes, right?
Yeah. So it's a while. So there's around 5 auditions before you even get shown on television and get
Okay.
in front of the judges. And then after that, there's 1 audition in one of the 3 states. So Nashville, California, or Austin, Texas. And
Okay.
Austin, Texas was the one that I went to. And then after that, you go back home for a while and then you go to New York, or I'm sorry, Hollywood. Whoa, not New York. And you're there for, I think, a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 4 auditions, something like that.
That's crazy.
So,
I never knew there was so much auditioning.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like it just happened yesterday,
Yeah.
but also I'm starting to forget stuff as I
Yeah.
interview, and so I'm like, this is so weird because I literally feel like it was yesterday, but then I'm forgetting everything, so it's
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah, when you made it, like, obviously, when you made it through after Hollywood, did they, like, give you, like, voice coaches? Like, how do you go or do you just kinda, like, show up on your own?
Yeah, so I'm happy that I did do voice lessons before, because it's very taxing, like, you're talking all the time, you're running around all the time. In Austin, it was, like, 150 degrees,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
in the blazing sun, it was horrible, and so, you're not drinking enough water and doing all these things, so it's just very taxing physically, mentally,
Yeah.
and also it's just, like just very hectic, so
Yeah. No, yeah, it sounds did you, like, make any friends with anybody or,
yeah.
like that's so cool.
Yeah, so honestly, our, city was the only ones that, like, actually sat down after
Mhm.
days of filming and just, like, hung out together and sang, and a lot of people lost their voices over that, like,
Oh,
trying
wow.
to, like, sing all night and hang out all night and stuff, so that
Yeah.
sucked watching that, but I made, like, a really, really cool group of friends, and even going into Hollywood, talking to all the other people about their experiences, like, they didn't experience that. So
Mhm.
that's not whenever or going on American Idol, that point of after filming and meeting people and connecting and all of that, that's whenever it made me realize I wanted to do music. I had
Yeah.
absolutely no idea that's what I wanted to do. I kind
Yeah.
of fell into it a little bit. Um, but yeah, it wasn't until then.
Yeah. So you really never like, did you ever, like, perform or was it kinda, like, just school stuff before that?
Yeah, so no, I never performed
That's
at all
crazy.
other than, like, just little, things through the school.
Yeah.
And then also my history teacher at the time had a group called the Mini Stars. So I guess
Mhm.
I did perform a little bit, with, like, just a few solos and, like, group things, but never, like, by myself with a guitar. I think I did, at the Mini Stars, like, one performance by myself with, like, a track.
Yeah.
So it's, like, very different going in front of 3 celebrities, having them judge you,
Yeah.
and then after the show, it's like, "Now what?" And it's like,
Yeah.
"Well, now I have to start doing this stuff and performing and
Yeah.
meeting new people and doing all that." So it definitely was a very big adjustment, but extremely fast.
No, yeah, that's, like, crazy. I'm, like, in awe right now. I, like, lost my words because 'cause I'm like, "I can't believe you never did that before."
Yeah, no.
And then you just went on stage and, like, you did so good.
Thank you
Like
so much.
and, like, I feel like too, you were really young compared to a lot of the people that go on there, I feel like are usually I don't know, I guess they have a wide range.
Yeah.
But because you said the first time you weren't old enough. So do
Yeah.
you have to be 16 to go on it?
I don't remember what exactly it was. I don't remember if I was turning 15 or it
Yeah.
was 15 because I'm pretty sure that they did change their requirements. So I can't quite remember, but all I remember was like I was 30 days too young. We got through
Yeah.
the whole entire process.
That's
We started
crazy.
sending stuff in, and then the agent was like, "Hey, you're actually too young for this. It's okay. I'll just do it next year." And it
Yeah.
ended up not happening. So it's a kind of like a weird thing, but I'm glad that I didn't do it that
Yeah.
young because I think I did it at the perfect time and I met the right people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kickstarted my career and made me realize, like I said. And it's kind of crazy because you're in a room with all these people. People are doctors, people are physical therapists, people are musicians, people are artists. And like we all
Mhm.
have one thing in common, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Because, like, from the outside looking in, sometimes you don't know that somebody's a musician or a painter or a,
Yeah.
physical therapist or a doctor. So it's cool to be in like one room with all types of people with all different personalities and like we all have music in common.
Yeah. I think that's is really cool. It's, like, a good perspective to have too.
Yeah.
And I think it's even cool, like, I always say, I love meeting, like, different people, like, in different cultures and different, like just the way because Beaver County, I feel like, is so lame and so small. I feel like there's nothing to, like, experience here except basically it's, like, everybody's pretty much the same. And
That's
so
true,
I
yeah.
always, like, love, like, going out. Like, I love me and my husband always say we love going out and, like, meeting new people and, like, trying new foods and, like, just, like, here I always, like, feel like people think I'm weird because I, like, ask so many questions. Probably why I have a podcast because I'm good at asking questions. Because I'm always
Yeah.
just so curious because it's, like, I've never really lived anywhere but here.
Yeah.
So, it's, like, I'm not really, like I come from your typical, like, American, like, white family. My parents are together, always been together. Like, I don't have any
Same.
diversity. So it's like,
Yes.
you just wanna experience it. Like, I don't get to experience what other people get to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And being on American Idol and not having anything that's really, like, that stands out in terms of story-wise was
Yeah.
a little bit hard.
Yeah.
And actually, I did not wanna talk about my grandma on the show at all.
Yeah.
And so basically, I'm dyslexic. It's
Mhm.
not anything big deal. I've got diagnosed when I was in 2nd grade. It's not
Yeah.
anything new to me. And so, like, I would just wanted that to be my story the whole time. Just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, like, sometimes I can't read. Sometimes I don't know my left from my right," just, like,
Yeah.
dumb things. And they were just, like, pushing me to try to find something, but exactly same with you, like, my parents are together,
Yeah.
everything's great with my family, there's not anything I don't live with my grandparents or
Yeah.
anything like that. So yeah, that was something that they struggled with a lot with my story
Mhm.
till they got hold of my grandma, so
That's so how did they even find that out? Did they just, like, deep dive research on you?
no. So basically, they just kinda ask you whenever you first audition, they ask you certain questions, and they'll ask you, like, "Are your parents together? Where do
Yeah.
you live?" Like, certain things like that. And I had pretty normal answers, not gonna lie. And then they basically just, like, asked me who I was doing the show for,
Mhm.
and I told them I was doing the show for my grandma because she passed away from ovarian cancer.
Yeah.
And so she, like, went to church and everything and always wanted me to sing in church, and, like, anywhere I went, she'd always have them, like, have me sing for them and
Yeah.
all types of stuff like that. So I was like, I'm doing it for her because, like, she's not here physically, but, she's proud of me and stuff, and they just took it and ran with it. But honestly, I'm really happy that it happened that way
Yeah.
because it's nerve-wracking because you don't know what's gonna be shown on television until
Yeah.
you're physically watching it with millions, billions of people watching it,
Yeah.
with you. And so, like, I think they did a great edit of her and everything, so I was happy with it, but,
Yeah.
at first I was definitely concerned about it, but
Yeah.
it was good.
It is probably hard, like, navigating, like, a live show
Mhm.
because you can't, like, take anything back really, and, like, they do, like, edit it a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's still, like, your words you're saying, like, raw in the moment.
Mhm.
Because like, I'm assuming it's not very I mean, they probably pick a couple things they want you to, like, talk about, kinda like how I gave you, like, "Hey, this is, like, what we wanna talk about,"
Mhm.
but they probably don't give you, like, word for word, like, "You have to say this," like
Well, one of the big things they do is they film everything, and I feel like they use nothing. And, like, some aspects, like, I had friends that they filmed them from sunup to sundown, and they weren't shown 1 second. You know what
That's
I mean? It's
crazy.
just there's so much that gets filmed, and there's so much that happens behind the scenes, and it's crazy, and it's actually kinda cool to watch the show to see what they pick out and what they don't, to
Yeah.
use. And, so it's just a matter of, are they gonna even one show me? Because you don't
Yeah.
know. Like, my last audition when I got eliminated, they didn't show it, and I had no idea until I had all of my family at a watch party, like, watching, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, guys, just letting everybody know, like, I'm not gonna be shown," and they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Well, they have, social media people that send you the post, send
Yeah.
you the post and, like, what to say and certain things. And I didn't get one. I was like, "This is kinda weird." And so I emailed them and they were like, "Yeah, you're not getting shown." And I was like, all of my auditions got shown but my elimination, which I think is a little weird,
Yeah, that is
but
weird.
that's what they decided to do. And, yeah, so it's always weird on they're filming so much, but you just never know.
Yeah, you never know what they're gonna use. That is crazy. I didn't know it worked like that.
Yeah.
So it was, like, kinda cool.
Yeah.
Um, but how did, like did your parents go with you when you were there,
Yeah,
or
so I was 17 when I did the show.
Okay.
So I technically was still a minor, so my mom had to go with me.
Okay.
But if I would have turned 18, I would have had to gone for the second half of it by myself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so, like, I knew a lot of people that's what happened to. So
Yeah.
I was grateful that she was able to go with me the whole time, and I don't know what I would have done without her because it was long days filming all the time.
Yeah.
Not knowing anybody is the big thing, for the first half. So yeah, she was able to come with me.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mhm.
I didn't know if, like, because usually they'll show, like, your parents and stuff, and so because like, your mom probably had to take off work and stuff, and
Yeah.
which I'm sure was like a lot too, because you don't know how long you're gonna be there.
Yeah, so she actually had to like write a letter like asking if she could get off because it's like a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like very sporadic too, like certain like a whole week in Hollywood and then I think like 4 or 5 days in Austin, Texas, and I don't know what I would have done if I mean
Yeah.
my dad probably would have went, but it was better that my mom went for that stuff, but she did not want to be on camera at all. So like
Yeah.
you don't really see her at all.
Yeah.
Just because she was just like, yeah, this is Morgan's thing. This isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
So here you go.
I'm sure too
But
secretly she was like a mess. Like, cause I know like being a mom now, like I would be so stressed for my kid. Like,
yeah,
cause you want them to do good, you want them to look good. Like,
yeah,
you're nervous. Like, you don't want them to like, too, you don't want people to talk to your child and like the wrong, like, and kill your dreams.
yeah,
Cause like she probably like, I mean, it's kind of cool. I think it's even cool, like your whole story of how people saw your gift in you before you even saw it, which I think is like so cool. And like as a mom, like our parents always see
yeah,
the things in us. So it's like cool that like she was probably so stressed.
yeah. Honestly, it was very stressful, but I'm so glad that I did it as a minor because there's child labor laws that protect you to make sure
Yeah.
that you are not being overworked. You're
Yeah.
getting in, like, I had to clock in and out
Oh, wow.
physically.
Yeah.
So, like, when I got eliminated, I still had time. I had to work technically. So, I got eliminated while all the other people around me went through, and I had to sit there and wait until my school was over to like get
Oh.
time off. So basically in California, I had to like be educated about child labor laws in California. So like just basically some videos and some tests that I had to answer. And I sat in a room, I don't remember, I think it's 8 hours. For 8 hours a day, and I clocked in and out, and I had certain amount of times that I had breaks. Like they take it extremely serious
Yeah.
for children. I
Yeah.
mean, as they
Probably have
should.
to, yeah.
Absolutely, it's great that they're protected. But I know like people that they're my friends, and they were up, 6 in the morning filming until 12 o'clock at night, and then their call time is at 4 or 5 the next day. So like I was super grateful that I did it when I did. And I always, you were talking to me about that girl behind the scenes. You said what, she's 13. Like
Yeah.
doing
She was
things young is like the way to go because it's like what can you have to lose? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and you have like like your support system. Like, I mean, granted, I'm 27. And I'm sure my mom would like follow me anywhere if I really asked her to.
Yeah,
She'd probably want
absolutely.
me to. She would want that, but at the same time, though, it's like you're also like an adult and you got a lot of other responsibilities. Like you have to, like, if you're not home working, if you take that off, it's like you're not making money for your bills at home
Yeah,
and stuff. Like, at least you have a support system when you're young that you
absolutely.
don't have to like worry about.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like I didn't realize how big the community was till I got off the show.
Yeah.
And like there's so many people that are so supportive that continue to reach out and, book me and do all these things because
That's
at the
awesome.
end of the day, just because I'm 20 years old, like I'm still paying for different things and,
Yeah.
trying to make it in the music industry and like doing the struggling artist thing.
Yeah.
But
Even producing music though, like I obviously I've never produced a song for someone,
yeah,
but like we do like we have like expensive equipment that we have to pay for, and like I know like you get charged. Like we had a couple friends that tried to go into the music industry, and I know like it's expensive to
yeah,
pay to get your song like and to make a demo and
yeah.
like do the whole process. So it is like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's extremely expensive.
Yeah.
But it also just depends on what you want to do. Like
Yeah.
there you can get in and produce your own music and put it out. That's super cost
Mhm.
effective. You could also like go to people that that's extremely cost effective. But I, use a specific guy in Nashville and I pay a little bit more money, but it's like I like to get in, record, and get out because I
Yeah.
have, I have things I gotta do and go all back and forth and do certain things like that. So it's always nice when you can connect with your producer, just get in, make the vision, come alive and get out.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of just what I've been doing. But I couldn't imagine, I don't have any like willpower. I'm not interested in the production side at
Yeah.
which would be so much cheaper, but I'm not into
Yeah.
computers, any of that stuff. So like I really give props to people that produce their own music and put it out, but
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it at
They
all.
honestly, they probably like it because you give less input too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be like, oh, like we need to tweak this,
Yeah,
but like,
absolutely. And
yeah.
you like the direction that you have, you can just obviously
Yeah.
make it happen. But a lot of the things with me is like I write music and I'm not the best at knowing what to do production-wise quite yet. So I feel like if I would produce my own stuff, I would have no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so, like, I definitely think I need to dabble into it a little bit, and I might, like, grow into liking it. But right now I just have a producer, and I really like just going in, taking a day, recording vocals, going in, recording, like, all the instrumental and just, like, getting it done, so.
Yeah. How, like, overwhelming was it moving to Nashville? I mean, we come from such a weird area. Like I said, everything's, like, the same. Like, I feel like everything's the same. Like,
Yeah.
everybody knows everybody. Like, I remember even too, like, when you went on American Idol, I feel like you were, like, the talk of the town because there's nothing else, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else, like, there's nothing to talk
Which
about.
is nice.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure I feel like everybody was very, I mean, I don't live, like, technically where you grew up and where I grew up is, like, probably, like, a good, like, 30, 35 minutes apart.
yeah.
And I feel like I didn't really know a whole lot of people. Like, I don't know a lot of people from that area, but I feel like I heard a lot about it. So I feel like
Yeah.
at least, like, our community is supportive,
Yes,
but it's definitely, like, different than the rest of the world.
they're absolutely so supportive, honestly. But yeah, it definitely was really weird. So I've been going back and forth for 4 years.
Yeah.
And so that's been very interesting. I had a friend that lived in Midtown that I would usually stay with a lot. And there was a parking lot like right across the street, and people would do donuts in the middle of the night. And like I had no idea what was going on. And like I live on 12 acres in the middle of nowhere in Fondell. And so all of my family, we kind of all live basically like on a compound. So my dad's parents, so my grandparents had 65 acres and they sold a few off. And then after that, they split it between 5 children.
Oh,
So
nice.
one out of the 5 is the only one that didn't build.
Okay.
So we're all together, but we don't like, our houses aren't near each other. It's like the woods that connects us.
Yeah.
So, if you're hearing like music or people talking, it's my aunts and uncles. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, who's over?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? Let me stop over. And so like that was really weird of like hearing a dog bark, hearing feet above you. Like
Yeah.
it's just very, very different. And also another thing that's different is like, I don't know if I should say this, but like gunshots are normal in Fondell. People are sighting in their guns, going hunting. Like I'm in the city and I'm hearing, like pop, pop, and you're just like going about your day and people are freaking out. And I'm just like, wait a minute. It's not a big deal. Because, that's what it is. It's like all blue collar. We're hunting and fishing and doing all these things. And so that was something weird too. Also like the traffic, there's no traffic here.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you stop at a red light and you look over and you know the person that's next to you, So it's like stuff like that was very weird. And even today, like going through traffic, I was even going to Pittsburgh and it didn't even cross my mind that like there's traffic in the morning. I have to leave a little early.
Yeah.
So yeah, being in Nashville is like, it's very night and day, but it's a lot of fun and I like going back and forth. And I'm honestly having a hard time now that I'm getting a little older of deciding where I want to live because it's just like there's polar opposites.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, Nashville's like a prime destination too for people to like go visit. So like it's probably so touristy on top of the people that live there.
Yeah.
And you probably get you get the people who are like they're struggling artists, as some would say, and then you get the people who are like so close to like trying to make it. Then you get people who are just, I want to meet someone in between.
Yes.
So I feel like that would be like a huge. Where here, I feel like it's very much like hometown. It is literally, it's so hometown. Like it's so much like everybody is in everybody's business. Like about everything going on for the best part. Like it is funny the thing you said about gunshots though, because I grew up in like Ohioville industry area, which is like I think this way. And so like for me growing up, it was like everyone was always blowing up Terranite. Like that was just like the thing you did as a kid.
Yeah.
And like it's funny because me and my husband always laugh. So he's from Boston originally. His whole family. He's the youngest of 4. And but they live out in North Swickley and stuff. But now, so they went from like city life to kind of what I grew up with life.
Yeah.
And in the peace and quiet. And then like it's funny, like on Beaver County News Alerts, we'll see people like posting stuff like, what was that? And I'm just like, and everyone will be like, it's just Terranite. Someone's blowing up Terranite. Like it's like funny because I can't even imagine like anywhere else. Like they're probably so like scared of like here, like a gunshot's like a really bad thing. Where here it was like I grew up, it was like that's all you heard. Like you didn't, and the wind blowing. Like, that was the scariest thing was, like, the wind blowing as a kid.
Yeah.
Or, like, someone's cow in our yard on accident 'cause they're, like, all
Cows are in my yard all the time.
Yeah.
I have a farm right next to me, so, like, that's something that's super normal for me. So, yeah, like, I couldn't imagine doing the city and then transitioning into, like, quiet.
Yeah.
But, being quiet and then I mean, it would probably be better that way, transitioning into the quiet, but being in the city, I'm just like, I love it, and there's so many different things, and there's so many cool things, and then there's, like, you know, the reality of actually living in a city, so it's very different. But one thing I you know, I was in Nashville for that probably, like, the first out of the 4 years, and you're, like, going to all the touristy places because you wanna meet people and you wanna do all these things, and then you're like, "Okay, well, now I'm over it. Now I wanna just do all the local stuff." So it's cool to, like, be able to kind of find like, there's areas everywhere in every city, I'm sure, that are kinda similar to this. But it's kinda cool to, like, find your people and, you know, a lot of people that you meet down there come from places like us.
Yeah.
It's a small town.
Yeah. Was it hard connecting with people, or do you think it was pretty easy, like, in a community?
Honestly, it was decently easy just because being off of American Idol, a lot of my friends then automatically moved down to Nashville. So that's kind of why I went down there, honestly. I went down to Nashville for a long time just to have fun and meet my friend or see my friends, excuse me, and just like take off of music, which I know it's the opposite. I'm going into a music town and like taking off. But you know, when it first started, like gigs started picking up every weekend, and people wanted me and booking here and booking there and doing shows here and there. The second I got off the show, and it was just nice to be able to fly there and hang out with my friends and not do anything, but just still be around music. And that's the thing I love being down there is like, you could go to a coffee shop and there's music. You could go get dinner and there's music. You could go walk the street and there's somebody singing in the street. Like, you don't have to physically sit down and say, hey, I'm going to write a song, or, you know, hey, I'm going to record this, or I'm going to do whatever. Like, anywhere you go has something to do with music, which I think is really cool because sometimes, like, it's exhausting doing music all the time. But then whenever it's like just little constant reminders, it's still cool because it just brings it all together.
Yeah. No, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
How did you choose, like, country music? Like, would it all have always been country music? Like, because, like, I know personally, I grew up, that was just, like, what you listened to.
Yeah.
Whereas I met my husband, he went to New Brighton, and it was like, he was like, ew, country music? I was like, screw you. Like,
yeah, it's actually really funny because I sang pop music on the show, technically. That was like the genre I was in. And then the second I got off the show, I just kind of realized that it was kind of a thing to where I listened to more like pop and alternative with my mom in the car. I listened to more country with my dad in the car. And then when we drove together, we mostly listened to country. But I loved like Whitney Houston and Christina Aguilera and Adele. And I feel like at the time, those were like the really cool people that were like blowing up. And it wasn't like as much for country music, at least where I was at, and what I was listening to and stuff, especially with like all the Musical.ly and stuff when that was a thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't country music; they were lip syncing. It was pop music. And so, basically, I was just like, there's so much more opportunity with country music, and especially nowadays. I mean, technically everything is country music.
Yeah.
Which is great for me just because I write music and I just write it to write it, and I don't have any genre specifically in mind. And so it always just technically falls into country.
Yeah.
But so, and I love like Chris Stapleton and Lainey Wilson and even like, you know, Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan and all of them that were a little bit older. But so I was like, I think that country was just the best avenue just because of the opportunity there is.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's, like, cool. What is, like, your writing process like? Like, do you have one, or is it kinda, like, whatever, like, speaks to you?
Yeah, so it definitely depends for sure. A lot of the times I'll get my ideas when I'm like just about to fall asleep, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
It's super weird, but and then also like when I write by myself, a lot I usually write at night, and being in Nashville with roommates, that was really hard.
Yeah.
So it kind of actually blocked my writing process a little bit being in Nashville. Even though you're writing with people all the time, like I wrote with so many people down there, but it was always, let's write at 11 a.m. Let's write at 10 a.m. And like in the morning time is not very like inspiring to me. So a lot of my ideas mostly come at night. Granted, we do still get great things during the morning time, but
Mhm.
mostly like my process is I'll write down just like different ideas.
Mhm.
And then it just depends on who you're in the room with. Some people use computers and they type before they even pick up a guitar. Some people just like, have a certain chord progression in mind. But there's just so many different ways to go about it. And it just honestly depends on how the other person that you're writing with like kind of
Yeah.
does things and like see how you gel together. But when I specifically like write by myself, it's mostly at night.
Mhm. Yeah, that's like I feel like that's like kind of funny, like and cool because I feel like you are right. Everyone is like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely like my brain shuts off. Like I go mind numb because nighttime is like my time to be like peace and quiet for
Yeah.
like a hot second. And then
Mhm.
like mornings, I'm always like I always say I'm a morning person, but honestly lately I've been just a neither night nor morning person. I'm like
Yeah.
a 2 p.m. person.
Yeah.
I'm like such a boring mom now. It's so sad. But did you always play the guitar? Like since you found out later that like you liked singing in life, like when did you learn pick up the guitar and like was it like a quick process or
Yeah, so I play the ukulele. Literally, if they were gonna make me sing another song on American Idol, I was gonna play the ukulele, which I don't think anybody even knows that.
oh that's so cool.
Um, and so I don't even remember how to play the ukulele anymore because now that's, 4 strings instead of 6. But I probably what this is 2025. I think
Mhm.
I've been playing for like maybe 2.5 years ish. Um, After I got off the show, my voice coach, I don't remember if I was still with her or not after I got off the show, but she basically was always like, "You definitely should learn an instrument." I took piano for a little bit and when I was younger and I wasn't really interested in it. And then I was told, to start playing the guitar. And so I actually went to the guitar store. I went to, Guitar Center, and I was just like, "I don't really know what I'm looking for."
Yeah.
And so I, like, FaceTimed a friend and was like, "Does this I'm strumming this, does this sound good?" And he was like, "Yeah, get that guitar." And, I ended up getting the guitar I have today, which I literally love, and I'm so glad I have it. And I went to go do lessons, and the guy I went to lessons to the first time was extremely fast paced.
Yeah.
And I was doing school and doing like all these other things, and I didn't have enough time to focus on just the guitar. And so I would go there, and it was like we would learn specific chords, and then the next week he would like expect me to learn them. Well, again, I'm dyslexic, so I
Yeah.
was trying to explain to him like it takes me a lot longer to like pick things up, and he
Yeah.
just wasn't understanding that, which is okay. So then I
Mhm.
ended up trying to see somebody else and, um, that kinda, like, fizzled out. I wasn't sticking with it. But I also forgot to mention that my guitar sat for a whole year until I decided to, like, actually do lessons
Yeah.
after that. So, like, I had the first lesson, the second lesson, and then I was just discouraged. So I just put the guitar away for a year, and I was like, "I'm not touching the guitar." And then one day I was laying in bed, and I remembered that the first, person that I took lessons with, he told me that, like, my strings were a little high on my guitar. I know it's dumb, but
Mhm.
and then I went to go I went to Brighton Music Center
Mhm.
that day or the next day, and it was, like, $60, took 2 days, and then I picked the guitar up, and I've been playing ever since.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was, like with guitars, it's, like, always weird because they're always set up differently, and, like,
Yeah.
I was pressing so hard and it wasn't doing anything because it was
Yeah.
just, like, way too far up, and it was just killing my fingers, and I just got done with it. I was just like, I'm not gonna learn the guitar because I was just discouraged about it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I remembered that, and I'm, like, glad I took those lessons with those 2 people because, I wouldn't know at least some of the basics when I actually decided to pick it up myself. But I'm still not, like, the best at the guitar
Yeah.
yet, but I'm still working on it, but it's definitely helped with the writing process, but going to Nashville, it's definitely I need to get a little bit better because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are like, "Alright, let's do these chords," and I'm just like, "Okay, you play," because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
it's cool to see, like, you're, like, stretching yourself and, and I think you, like, have to do that. You're al like, it's always, like, life is just always constantly stretching ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's, like, cool seeing you, like, do that and you're, like, learning what works for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that, like, you're so open talking about how you're dyslexic and how, like, it's hard to learn new things like that, but you, like, overcame it and did it anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just you just need to do it in your own time because you know how your brain works.
Exactly.
And other people and that's, like, goes with anything. You can get so many opinions from anyone, but it's what works for you that is gonna make you grow the most.
No, for sure. And honestly, like, I learned that whenever I first got off the show, I mostly just did tracks.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, if I'm still doing something today and somebody asks for a song that I don't know, I'll just, like, throw one on. But it's so different when you're able to accompany yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you wanted me to play today and I didn't know how to play the guitar, I would have to bring somebody. Then I had to
Yeah.
make sure they're available, and then we'd have to
Yeah.
drive here and make sure they're on time and all of the different things. So it's
Mhm.
nice to be able to, like, I'm able to play well enough to get myself through it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, yeah,
So,
that makes sense. And too, you can make songs yours.
yeah.
And I think and that's where, like, people can truly see your talent is when you're making it your own and, like, singing it to your own because everyone's voice is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure.
like you can hit the notes that, like, make you sound your best instead of just
Absolutely.
copying someone, which
Absolutely. And also, I think too is, like, when you have a guitar player, like, my guitar player and I connect really good
Mhm.
and all of that, but there's sometimes where you're like, "Oh, this song's doing so good, I wanna throw another chorus in, or I wanna
Yeah.
extend this, or I wanna do this," and sometimes you're able to communicate that, but sometimes when you're stuck in the lyrics and you
Yeah.
don't have enough time to tell your guitar player or, whoever, your, accompanist or whatever, like, it just deadens the mood, and then,
Yeah.
you go and you're able to just do it yourself, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna throw another chorus in, or I'm gonna change the speed, or I'm gonna change the capo," or, like,
Mhm.
all the different things. So, it's always different, but it's cool to be able to just, like, accompany yourself.
Yeah. No, I think so too. So a fun question for you. Who is your, like, dream collab with?
Honestly, so I've
Yeah.
met a few people, famous people in Nashville, but I have seen millions of famous people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a person to get starstruck, really.
Yeah.
Only person is probably Christy Putten or Lainey Wilson.
Yeah.
They're my two favorites. And I really just admire their writing process.
Yeah.
And so that would be really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I could work
Have you met
with either
them
one.
or, like, have you seen them at all?
I've seen Lainey in concert twice, and I've
Mhm.
seen her on the side of the road, and I was like, "Hey, I'm coming to your concert,"
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've seen her before, and haven't seen Chris Stapleton, um, but I think those are the 2 that
Yeah.
I would, be kinda fangirling
Yeah,
over a little
hopefully we
bit.
can, like, tag them in we'll make this a short. We'll tag them in it and be like, "Have her open for you."
Thank you. No, yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
We'll be like, "Let Morgan open for you," and you hop on a track.
Yes, actually, you made me think of something. So I was at the CMAs,
Yeah.
and I seen Lainey's parents,
Mhm.
and they were just standing there like normal people, and I was like, "Hey, I just wanna let you know I love your daughter.
Yeah.
Get my number." Just kidding, but
Yeah.
no, I talked to them, they were really, really nice, and, just really sweet and, like, super encouraging, and you could tell that she, like, comes from a great family,
Yeah.
so it was cool.
Honestly, like, having, like, that support system, I think, helps those really make it.
Yeah.
Like, and it makes it, like I feel like too, and it helps you, like that's how the people who, like, keep their head screwed on straight is because
Yeah.
they have such a good support system that
Absolutely.
keeps them steady and they don't need things from everybody else because they have that support system.
Yeah, I think the most important part of it is it's like I have times where I question whether I'm doing the right thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you're absolutely right. It has everything to do with, the people that are supporting you and that you surround yourself with because, there's times that I'm like, I don't know if this is what I should do. And I call my parents or I call my best friend or I like talk to people and I'm like, what am I doing? Sometimes you like write a bad song and you're just like, I shouldn't do this. I'm the worst songwriter ever,
Yeah.
like certain things. But like it is all about the support system and even like Beaver County and, all the surrounding areas, they've just been so amazing and
Yeah.
it's been really, really great.
That's awesome, and that's good to hear, like, someone who's stuck here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey, they'll support you.
Absolutely. And it's honestly like people message me all the time and be like, "Hey, is this even Morgan Gruber? Like, is this actually you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I handle my social media. I'm trying my best." Like, I see all the comments and see like all the people and like I'm just a normal girl and I'm trying to go through them. But like every single comment that people comment, I see and I appreciate so much, even if I like, aren't able to just like respond back.
Yeah.
So it's been really great. And it's honestly a huge reason of why I'm still doing music for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. So then just to like close everything up, I always try to like, I don't know, end the podcast with giving like advice to people to make it at least like worth their time of listening is. But what advice would you give to maybe like a young girl or even like a older, it could be anybody that is looking to like start a career in music and they don't really know the direction to go and it's kind of just like overwhelming. What like advice would you give them like where to start?
Honestly, I think, like, the biggest thing is your support system like we talked about,
Yeah.
and, like, making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
And also, like, just thinking about all the avenues that you can take because just if just because, like, you think something's gonna work and it doesn't work, like, don't get discouraged
Yeah.
about it. And, like, there's so many opportunities that are gonna be missed. There's so many
Mhm.
opportunities that are gonna happen. And like I seen in a podcast a while ago, somebody said like the door that opens for you closes right behind you.
Yeah.
And I think that's like crazy because if you sit and look at all the artists that have made it, not a single one of them, other than like back then, are similar.
Yeah.
And it's like it's definitely a scary path to go through where you don't know if it's gonna work out. You don't know,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. But like doing it young, or even if you're older and you hate your job and you want to try something new, like do it. Because
Yeah.
literally I am, just doing the path that I love. And if you do something that you love, it's not really a job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
And it's
yeah.
like you don't want to be, yeah, you can stress about money and how you're gonna make ends meet and everything. But also it's like, would you rather do that or would you rather be happy? Like I'd rather be happy
Yeah.
and like worry about money, yeah, whatever, but still be happy with my career or whatever. But
Yeah.
also, another thing I was told the other day was, or a few months ago, was a dream is just a procrastination. I think
Yeah.
that like weighed on me.
Yeah, that's really
And
good.
I'm the type of person to where like sometimes when people are giving me advice, I like have to just sit and like marinate in it for a little bit and
Yeah.
see what I can get out of it. And like that instantly stuck with me and like I will never forget it. And I think that that's something that is such a bold statement of like
Yeah.
just do what you want to do. Like
Yeah.
we literally only have one life.
Very true.
So just live now.
Yeah, no, that's, like, very true. I feel like we're so focused on, like, because of social media, it's like, "Oh, I want this," and "Oh, I want that," and, like, well, you need money to get those things,
Yeah.
and I think, like, too, like, when you have heart and passion behind what you're doing, like, that's how you excel. Like,
Yeah.
I do think when you don't love what you're doing, when you don't have passion and that could be working for someone, like, don't get me wrong, like, you could genuinely enjoy being, like, a customer service agent, like, you
Yeah.
could, like, you can
Absolutely.
enjoy, like, helping fix the situations and making people's lives, like, a lot easier and
Yeah.
communicating with people, and that could be your gift. You could love that, but if you don't love it, it's gonna be miserable and you can't make more money because you're never gonna do good at it.
Yeah.
You could never do your best that you could be doing at what you love. So I
Exactly.
think, like, it is really important. And it goes for anything, whether it's work, whether it's friends, like, if you're not
Yes.
loving a friendship,
I was
like
just gonna say surrounding yourself with people and like,
Yeah.
your career is super similar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree, yeah, but I love that you said that about people because I think that's, like, the most underestimated thing is people always overlook is who you surround yourself with, and it's like if people are gonna bring you up or bring you down and our generation, I think, is in such a, like, self-care,
Yeah.
like, mindset right now,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of, like, the older generations and people can look down on that, but I do think it's important to, like, watch what you're listening to and, like, who's speaking into you and who's encouraging you in what you're doing because, like I said, social media, it's so easy to be like, "Oh, I'm a weirdo," and, like, I love the Kardashians. I don't know why, it's just such a weird thing, I just love them.
Who's your favorite?
I love Kim, but I always give them a shout out on here because I just like my jeans are, Khloe Kardashian's Good American, and, like, I get, like, Skims, like, bras and underwear and stuff because I, like, love I don't know, they're in their defense, they actually do produce, like, good quality stuff. So their name on it, it's not just their name, they actually do put good quality behind it. Like, these jeans I get so many compliments on, and I'm like, "It's because I had a baby," and I was like, "None of my jeans fit." They're so uncomfortable, like, I
Yeah.
hate how they're, like, tight, and these, like, stretch to my body, like, I love it. But and they suck in my stomach at the same time. But like, yeah, like I could literally look at the Kardashians and be like, I want to live their lives, like all their stuff. I want all their stuff, and like I want to live like them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, do I think I could handle the negative crap that they get back? Definitely not.
Yeah.
I am not the personality to have someone just sit there and bash my family, my kids all day long. They put up with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if you look at them too, even it's like, look who they surround themselves with. Their inner circle is very tight knit, and a lot of it's family. And because family's so important, and they're all like minded, and so it is like important to not focus on all those things you want. But it is hard with social media, like constantly being in your ear. And I'm sure for you, it's like anyone can make music.
Yeah.
And if anyone can have, like, if God gave them a good voice, they got a good voice. Like, but it's like to have like the passion and the excitement, and like going out and making the connections and understanding those connections are important. Like that's what's going to make you successful, and that's going to get you to where you need to be.
No, for sure.
But
Totally agree.
And that's awesome though. I'm glad to like hear you're still singing and like doing it, because sometimes I feel like people fall off.
Yeah.
After,
It's honestly, music is like a very fun but lonely thing. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of the time you're doing shows by yourself or like with your like one or two people. And so it's like I can understand why, and also like the negative stuff like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like so many negative comments is crazy. That I'm like, I don't even know how they would be able to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just definitely like very interesting to see how, everybody does have a different path. And there are times that people fall off just because it's like it's a hard industry.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know where to start. But
Yeah.
like we talked about, like surround yourself with good people, and if it's really what you want to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's good advice. But thanks for being on here. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And make sure you check out the other videos that I'm going to be doing with Morgan. Morgan is going to try to do the llama llama video, the trend that I've been wanting someone to do so bad. So I'm so
Hopefully it
excited.
turns out.
No, it's going to be so good. I'm so excited. So make sure you find that video. And then Morgan, do you want to give your social media handles if anybody wants to follow you or check you out?
Yeah, sure. So all my social medias are at It's Morgan Gruber, like ITS Morgan Gruber.
Perfect. And I'll make sure they're going to pop up on the screen right here.
Follow it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please give her a follow. Thank you so much for watching and making it through the video. And yeah, and make sure you subscribe, share, and make sure you check out our next video. Thanks for watching.